Let me give you a bit of an insight into how I'm keeping track of all these different presentations. For the most part, I'm keeping an eye on the schedule for Summer Game Fest, a series of online digital events organised and hosted by game journalist Jeff Keighley. Other than that, I've also found this rather handy schedule on PC Gamer's website, and it's here where I first found out about a digital event hosted by a company called Wholesome Games. The main purpose of Wholesome Games is to shine a spotlight on developers that, instead of focusing on being defined by a particular genre, choose to craft games that have a certain story to tell. Or as their website puts it, they are less concerned with how you play games and are more concerned with how they make you feel. There has been more of an influx of games in recent history where the onus hasn't been on things like tighter, smoother controls and in-depth precision gameplay mechanics, and rather in taking the player on a journey that produces a whirlwind of emotions. That's not to say that these games completely ignore gameplay entirely. After all, these are video games we're talking about. But they're mainly used to help drive the narrative forward and provide a different style of gaming unique from the usual brand of annual AAA clones. When it normally comes to these indie showcases, I have a hard time really getting into them, as almost all of the games on show look very similar in appearance that they tend to blend into each other. However, whilst watching through the entire presentation, I couldn't help but be filled with a huge sense of joy and whimsy. Every game on display looks so wondrous and quaint. Because there were over 50 titles to look at, I'm not going to go through every single one of them, but I will point out a few that caught my eye. The world of Button City has such an adorable design. The game is about a group of kids trying to stop their local arcade from being shut down. From what I can tell, you'll run around the city with your friends, play some arcade-inspired minigames, and get up to all sorts of capers in an adventure said to be inspired by films like The Mighty Ducks and Little Rascals. There is a definite hijinks vibe coming from this game. Snacko is a farming simulator game with an interesting unique look, with two-dimensional sprite-based characters moving about in a 3D world. You'll grow crops, raise your livestock, go mining, fishing, exploring, and slowly build a community on this seemingly deserted island. Admittedly, it can be difficult to get these slice-of-life style games right in the same way that Stardew Valley and Animal Crossing has, but the disarmingly cute characters and seeing the process of your hard work on display is very satisfying to look at. Chicory, A Colourful Tale, immediately grabs you with both its visuals and its gameplay. As Chicory's #1 fan, it's up to you to find out what happened to her and restore colour to the world. A game like this reawakens memories of being a young child, opening a colouring book and going absolutely mad with your crayons. This is a game that not only encourages you to colour outside the lines, but to let your imagination run wild. Little Witch in the Woods follows Ellie, a witch's apprentice, in her day-to-day routine as she studies to become a fully fledged witch herself. It has an enchanting pixel art style that not only entices you into its world, but brings to life a whole cast of irresistibly charming characters, with gameplay that feels like you're experiencing Kiki's Delivery Service via Stardew Valley. Something to note about indie games is that because they have less restrictions placed on them, they're able to tackle subjects that most other games wouldn't really dare to address. For example, A Space for the Unbound tells the story of two young students in late 90s rural Indonesia, and spins a tale that combines the excitement of young love and the supernatural, whilst tackling the themes of anxiety and depression. Likewise, Spiritfarer has been described as a cozy management game about dying, where you help to build a ferry in order to guide spirits across the sea to help them reach the afterlife. And then there's Wayward Strat, a heartfelt interactive story where you play as a young journalist on board an airborne hospital trying to uncover a mystery whilst listening to the bittersweet tales of the staff and patients. Miss Vaughn sounds so sweet, I just want to give her a hug. This is where you get to see the real strengths of these independent titles, in their freedom to be able to tell stories the way its creators want to, as well as exploring new gameplay possibilities that you'd never even thought of. You could build your own museum from the ground up. You could travel across Scandinavian-inspired landscapes, follow an alien as he lands on a mysterious planet and discovers new friends, and build and design your own cat cafe. Or you could be a bird that skateboards. What makes games like these stand out is their ability to provide you with an alternative to the usual dreg of top-end 40+ hour grand adventures. Sometimes you don't want to go on an epic quest to fight a dark wizard, or join in a fight against an evil enemy empire. Sometimes all you want to do is sit down for a few minutes and play a game where you find the perfect gift for your girlfriend, or spend a rainy day inside your house with your family, or just write a letter filled with kind words and send it off to another actual person just to brighten up their day. While these independent showcases aren't usually my thing, I can appreciate what they bring to the table. Not only do they help to spread the argument that video games can be art, but they also provide you with so many new ways to enjoy yourself and express yourself. You can see that every single developer has put so much passion into their games in order to bring their vision to life in the way that they want their story to be told. Games like these are hard to hate, as all they really want to do is put a smile on your face. Even the ones that talk about death. Maybe all this Wholesome director's managed to do is show off a bunch of really creative talent. Maybe you'll try out a few and think to yourself, that was a lovely waste of time. Or just maybe you'll have seen your new favourite video game ever. And if you're not into any of that, don't worry, I'm sure someone will announce a new Shooty McShooter or Stabby Stabby Stealth Stuff game at some point. Ooh, maybe even a remaster of Shooty McShooter 4.